All right, how's everybody doing today for round two of Sierra Chart webinar that I'm putting on with Ray and those guys over there? How's everyone going? How's everyone doing? I'm gonna start off by saying that this particular topic is pretty intimidating to me. Uh, I suspect it's the same for everybody else because I really got no feedback. I had very few questions about order types and this, that, and the other. I mean, just I expected to get bombarded, and I was going to be spending the last week trying to learn how to do all this stuff. Thankfully, everything was relatively simple, and I love seeing where everyone's from in the chat. Netherlands, that's pretty cool. So we're going to keep it simple, but what I want to start with. Not as cool. What I want to start with is, we're going over order entry, some order types, and then we're going to look at ways to execute orders within Sierra Chart. So everyone's coming in a couple minutes late, and we're going to get this little noise every time someone comes in. So that's all right. So first of all, the ways that you can execute an order in Sierra Chart, there's basically 5, okay? And I'm going to walk through each one. So there's a trade window, okay? So a trade window, you come under trade and you open up a trade window for the chart, okay? Now it can be attached or it can be floating. So this would be a floating trade window. And this would be an attached trade window. Okay, so the attached trade window is attached to the chart. The floating trade window is, well, I already have it open and it's already attached. So if I go ahead and close this down, the floating trade window, it just allows you to kind of put it wherever you want, if you have other monitors or whatever. So me personally, I have floating trade windows, but for our purposes today, I'm just going to attach one to the chart, and then we're going to kind of walk through it a little bit. There is the trade DOM, okay? The trade DOM would be under File, and you would open a trading DOM for the chart. And you could just open up a trading DOM. There's a little bit. So this one, you would select the symbol and it would open up just the DOM. This one right here, for our purposes, we want to open up a trading chart for the DOM, okay? That gives you the trade window and it gives you the DOM, all right? My color settings for this is, I'm going to turn that off. So then you have a trading window based on this chart with a DOM applied to it, okay? We're going to get a little bit more into this one later, so I'm going to go ahead and close it down now. Then we have chart trading, okay? So we can right-click on the chart and we can buy or sell stop, or really any number of things that you want to have in here. Remember, I'm only an expert at my methods. I can't tell you all the thousands of ways that are out there, but I'll show you how to add whatever you would like to this particular method in Sierra Chart on how to execute an order. Then you have the chart DOM, which is my personal favorite. Okay, so you come under trade, trading chart DOM on. Okay, now if you're in the pit, you see this every day. So this is my personal favorite. It applies the DOM to your chart. And if you want to trade off the DOM, which I typically trade off of my trade window, then you can click in here and you can place orders, okay? So, and then there's probably the least of all the methods, which would be a trading control bar, okay? So this right here is called a control bar. If you come up under window and look under control bars, you can add a control bar that has your whatever your favorite buttons are up here. I'm not going to say that people don't use it. I'm sure that it was a big request, so they added it. That's just not my thing. But I'm going to show you how to go ahead and update that as well. So first, let's start with the trade window. Okay, so this is your basic trade window. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and actually let this float, so it'll be easier to pull it off the side or pull it into the center. So let me just take that off. That if you just unselect attached, it'll make it float. So this is your trade window, okay? Now, a couple things. When you first come into, you're not hearing any audio. All right, sorry. So I'm just kind of going off and people are saying no audio. Okay, so fine. Okay. So this is your trade window, all right? So this is my preferred method of executing a trade, all right? So I have this sitting off on my right-hand monitor. It keeps it off my main execution screen. It's something that I don't really want to focus on, all right? There's a couple things that I would recommend with the trade window. First of all, if you click on it, and this is a much request in the pit, this is requested quite often, especially by newer traders or newer to Sierra chart traders. So a lot of times what will happen is when you place an order at first, you will get a confirmation, and there's nothing worse than a confirmation when you're trying to get in on an order, especially for me. So if I wanted to get long off of this bar pocket, let's just say I mashed the button, okay? I'm like, all right, well, just get in. And I'm in. Well, if it gives you a confirmation, the last thing you want is to have to come up and, oh, look at that. I didn't even put that in there. So I thought I clicked it. Okay, well, so it's not even selectable for me. So I might have actually turned it off globally. But the fact of the matter is, let's just go ahead and say this. When you want to customize your trade window, you do not want to have to, or in my opinion, you would not want to have confirmation saying, are you sure you want to get in on this trade? And then you have to click, yes, I want to get in on this trade. And then your entry is like 3 ticks away from really where you wanted it. So I would definitely come in here. This is where you turn on or turn off your confirmations. Under your settings, I prefer to hide my account because I share my charts live daily. So I hide my account number. But beyond that, I mean, there's really not much that you can do in here. This is where you're actually going to set up your different trades, your trade management styles, okay? So if I wanted to have, let's say for the ES, if I wanted to, and we're going to get into building one, but I have a whole list of particular trade management profiles that I might want to use. If I'm using the NQ, I've got a specific trade profile for that. If I'm trading the ES, I've got specific trade profiles for that. So for example, I select this one, it automatically, I already have it baked in to have 3 lots selected. Let's see here. You can shrink down the trade window slightly. The little C tab makes it narrower. Yeah, I personally, I leave it just as it is. But the fact is that there's certain things that you do want to have, okay? So one of them is probably this is probably the most requested, is how the hell do I get rid of the confirmations? Because you don't want to try to put on a trade, especially when the market's moving, and then it asks you, are you sure you want to get in on this trade? And then you have to click OK. So for me, I disable all confirmations. I just don't want to see them. Then up in this box on this drop-down menu right here, this is where your trade profiles are going to go. Trade management profiles are going to go. You can see I have a couple of ES ones in here. I've got some NQ ones in here. I've got a no targets one in here based on a request that we had. in the support forum. But this is basically it. And you can put this anywhere. You can attach it to your chart. One question that we had was about setting it up to look like Transact. Now, interestingly enough, when I first started trading futures, yeah, of course you can, Mike. Yes. So, but the fact, and we'll get to that. But does everyone get sound working right? I'm still seeing no hearing sound. So, and I don't know if Tom's been in here or not, but the sound is working. It's got to be setting. Okay. Got you. So I just wanted y'all to know that it's not on my end. So this right here is one method of putting orders in, okay? And we're just going to walk through each one so that you understand that there are different methods. So this is one, okay? So you can buy the ask, you can flatten out, you can reverse. That's the reversal button of death. I never recommend anyone use it. I've never been able to use the reversal button of death successfully. It seems like if I've ever reversed, I just lose on both sides. So my preferred method of entering in a trade is buying the ask or selling the bid. If you buy the bid, I tend to find that I get no fills a lot more frequently. If you sell the ask, I tend to get more no fills than if I sell the bid or if I buy the ask. So, and what that means is if you buy the bid, it's just putting a limit order in at the current bid. So if the price ticks away from you while you're doing that and never comes back to you, you probably will never get filled. On the by the ask, so if the current bid, if the price is sitting right here at 44.90, okay, and you want to buy the ask, it'll actually come up and get the ask and you'll get filled a lot more times, or most of the time. Now, if the market rips while you're buying the ask or selling the bid, then you're probably going to get a no fill as well. That does happen. But my preferred method is buy the ask and sell the bid. If the market is really moving and is volatile, then I'm probably trading small size, and I'm probably trading small size, and I'll mark it in. I'll just hit buy or sell. Now, the thing about marketing in is you need to make sure that you have this set to market. Then you can market in your buy orders or your sell orders. Yes, you can deactivate the reversal button. I believe. I don't actually know how to do it. As a matter of fact, I don't even see it anymore. I don't even see it until I'm talking about it right now. But this is the trade window. Okay, so we'll get back to this. I'm going to close it down. Now the trade DOM. The trade. Let me go ahead. That person. Here, let me set this up real quick so that everyone that enters the room. So, all right. So now let's talk about the trade DOM. Okay. So if we come over here and we click under file and we go open trade DOM for chart, that's going to give us a trade window. I need to hide these lines. That's going to give us a trade window plus a DOM. Okay. Now this is actually how I have my trade window configured on my right monitor, because I like to be able to see the DOM really wherever I look. Okay, so because if I'm buying, the way I have my DOM, and it's similar, this is the same thing, right? This is your DOM right here based on a trade window. It has to be configured the way you like it. This one's not configured. This right here is a chart DOM, same DOM as right here, but I have this one configured exactly the way I like it. It's a little bit more advanced, okay? So for this particular DOM, it works exactly the same, but now instead of having to click buy the ask or sell the bid, you can come in here and you can click and you can put an order in. So you can just click up here and say, all right, if it gets to 44.96.25, I want to go ahead and get short. And then I can say, all right, and if it comes down to 44.87, so let's just say you're like, okay, well, this is probably a bad example, but if I come down here and say, look, I want to get filled in right here. And then I can come down here and say, I want my profit take to be right here. So you can click into this, and you don't necessarily have to use the trade window for that. Now, you can right click and it'll automatically put you in. It's going to market you in and not use a stop. Okay. And you can right click down here and it'll flatten you out. So if you right click the resting offers, it'll market you in short. And if you right click the resting bids, it'll market you in long. Now, I don't have anything set up here, right? So if I come in here and I say, all right, well, if I want no targets, meaning I just want to come in here and just say, all right, well, let me come in here and I want to put a buy order down here and I want to put a stop order up here. I think the market's going to come in and pick me up and then I want to put my profit take. So you can do that as well. So that is the trade DOM. Okay, so that's just another method that you can have. The cool thing about the trade DOM is that I really like, and I don't know, I mean, it doesn't matter, you guys might not like it, but you can do certain things to it. So for example, I can add my levels to it. Okay, so if I just have another chart in here, I've got a market profile that I drew up some levels on, but I can actually copy over. Yes, Thomas, it is recorded. I can copy over, and I'm speaking a little bit fast because I don't want this one to go 3 hours if you want to know the truth. Yes, Mike, you can configure the limit order, market order, stop order, and whatnot as well. You're probably much more familiar, as it seems, than I am with all the functionality. I can only go over basically what I want to use. Now, is there a market if touched? Yes, there is. That's a client side, not a server side. And the market if touched, just to give you a little background, Thomas, that's the heavier risk, right? So that sits on your computer and is based on your internet connection and everything else. I actually did not know that at first. I had never tried it, and I was like, well, hell yeah, if it gets to me, I want to just mark it out if it's touch. Well, CQG rejects it. I think everyone pretty much rejects it for that matter. Unless you configure it to actually be accepted. But I strongly recommend to keep all of your orders on the server side, the clearing side, not your computer side. Okay. Too many things can happen. If you have a marketed and if touched out there and you walk away thinking everything's great and your computer shuts down or goes, whatever happens, then you're going to be screwed. But a lot more risk, high risk on the client side and much less risk on the server side. So don't recommend market if touch, but yes, it does exist. I mean, you can see in here, there's just a ton of different options that you can have. And I'll touch on the ones that people asked questions about. So so now you have a second way. So you can have a chart, a trading window, right? So you have a trading window that's standalone or that can be attached to your chart. You have a trading window with a DOM. There's pretty cool things that you can do with this. Like I said, you can copy over your levels, all right? And then you can trade against your levels. You can come in here under Customize Chart DOM Configurations. You can set it up just like I have over here. And on top of that, you can add certain studies, okay? So I'm a big volume by price guy. So if I want to add volume by price, now granted, this is going to be out the box. This is not going to be how I normally have it set up. But you can also add a volume by price. You can add study price overlays. So you can copy studies from other charts onto this chart, and then you can get your value area lines and whatever. But so there's a lot of cool things that you can actually do with the trade window with the DOM. All right. So let's just go ahead and what does adding volume by price do for me personally? Well, I mean, I'm a big low volume node through high volume node guy. So now I don't have, if I add the volume by price to this window, I would have to configure it, right? Like I would want it right aligned. I would want it based on a specific setting, right? So I'd want to see the POC I would want to see where my low volume nodes are. So like, for example, right here, a low volume node, the price pulls back into this low volume node. For my particular setup, Ray, which would be with the market orders lifting the offer or hitting the bid, the stack, pulling and stacking. When we get to that low volume node, I can see buyers defending this area or not. So if I want to get long right here off of this low volume area and trade it back through this high volume area, then I would be able to see on the DOM real time whether buyers are defending it or not. Yeah, we talked about that in the last webinar. So lots of cool things that you can do with this particular setup. I don't use it. I use the chart DOM. We're about to get to that. So I'm going to go ahead and nuke that. And then like we already have, so we have the chart DOM. Okay, now the chart DOM for me is, like I said, I have a trade window floating on my right monitor. I don't like to look at it. I tend to not look at my P&L. I tend to not focus on that. All I want to do is execute against my levels. All right. So, but if I wanted to, okay, if I wanted to, I could come in here and yes, they are configurable. I could come in here and I could trade specifically off of this. So if I wanted to get longs, let's say and this is my particular setup, let's say that down here, 112 bought 87.25 the last time we were here, okay? And I know that if the price moves back down into this area, we have bar pockets that were supporting buyers, okay? So for me, if I want to come in here and put an order down here, I could say, all right, look, for this particular trade setup, which is based on my trade window, for this particular trade setup, and remember, if I open up my trade window here, it's normally floating, but let's just go ahead and open it. Remember, I'm set up with a particular setup, okay? I've got an all stop 20, and this is actually, I actually resaved this and I didn't actually change it, but let me go ahead and show you the targets. I've got an all stop at 20 ticks, that's down here. I've got a initial profit of to take 2 off at 9 ticks and to leave a runner for 40 ticks, okay? So if the price comes back down into this area, if that's why you want toolbar buttons for the trade window configurations, okay? So for this right here, if I know that there are buyers down here, okay? And I know that when we pull back in here, I saw support and I want to get long. All I have to do is click into this price and it'll put this out here. If I get filled, it's going to take profit on the first 2 and then leave a runner. And then the way this is also set up is as it goes in my favor, if it goes in my favor, it will drag my stop to break even. So typically with my order, with where I enter trades, I'm fairly certain that it's going to work out in some form or fashion. Okay. So as it goes in my favor, when it takes 9 off, I know that my stop has already moved up over 2 points. So I'm almost never taking a full stop. Sometimes you get in and the market just drops right against you. There's nothing you can do about it. But this is a pretty clean way of getting to place orders out there. Now, here's another thing. Actually, I'm not going to get into that just yet. So there's the trade DOM. Okay, so you can execute orders off of that. Now, or the chart DOM, I'm sorry. So the chart DOM that you can execute orders off of. Now there's also the control bar. So that's this bar up here that, quite frankly, I don't use. I would never use it, but it is available. So if you come under global settings and you go under, let's see, where's it at? Control bars, okay? So if you go under control bars, all right, you can set up on this control bar the buttons that are important to you, okay? So you control bar 2, that would be the one that sets it under the main one. You can come under trade window menu and you can add whatever you want to this particular control bar. For me, once again, buy market, sell market, buy ask, buy the ask, sell the bid. Okay. And then all you have to do is come under window and just make that control bar visible. So that would be really the last way that I know of. I mean, there might be, Mike, you could probably tell me, but that is the 5 ways that you can actually execute orders within Sierra Chart that I'm familiar with. Now, so let's get into setting up some orders. Okay, I'm going to get into y'all's questions now, and I really I'm trying to respect everyone's time because the last webinar went over almost 3 hours. So I am speaking very fast, and I know, Mike, that I am glossing over a lot of stuff, but you know as well as I do, we could absolutely spend 10 hours just going over everything that you can do with this. Let's see here, Craig. Let me get to this question. I'm going to get to the questions that were submitted beforehand. Thanks for doing this webinar. How long did it take you to decide and construct the order entry tools for your trading style? Well, here's the thing for me, Craig. It didn't take any time because I just keep it simple. Now, as the years have gone on and I've refined my trading. Oh, and you can also right click. Well, yeah, that's true. I'm sorry. The chart. I didn't talk about the chart. So you can also, that I mentioned it, but I didn't talk about it. So you can also configure this menu right here with the things that you like to place trades. So now I don't particularly do this because let's just say you're right here and you're like, okay, let's go back to this scenario again. Okay. So I don't normally use the crosshairs, but I know that there's a buyer down here. I can right click and I can put a buy stop because I know that if the price gets down into here, I can place a trade. I want to get long. Okay. Now I'm not saying that I would, and I would never do that, to be honest with you. But if you did, you could, if that's your style and you were certain about a level, then you could certainly do that. And how you configure that menu is if you come under global settings and you go under chart trade menu, okay, all the available menu items are in here, okay? And that's basically everything I believe that's over in this menu option right here. Pick out the ones that you want. Once again, buy stop limit, sell stop limit. Move stop to break even, that's this BE button right here. Flatten and cancel, cancel all. I actually have it set to where my flatten cancels all also. So if you come under here, and I believe it's under settings, let's see here. Where's it at? Always in live. I cannot remember where stuff is at, but I believe, oh, cancel orders on flat position. Okay, so right there. All right. So now I can come in here and I can say, all right, if I'm in a trade, okay, and let's say I've added to that trade and it's put another order out there. Well, if I want to cancel those orders, or I have orders that are just sitting out here and I just want to nuke everything on flatten, then I would just be able to hit flatten, and it's not only going to flatten my active orders, but it's going to flatten every order that I might have out there. Now, I would recommend, because I've actually seen somebody go home for the day and they had orders sitting out there that they forgot. They left their chart book open. They didn't realize that they had orders out there. They had flattened before they left, but they had orders that were sitting out there not active. So what happened was they went away from their computer with their charts running, and they came back and they found out that they were severely negative. And they were thinking to themselves, well, shit, I just flattened. I thought I flattened everything. I must have had an order that I forgot about out there. So I have it set to where at the end of every day, I just flatten everything. Okay. So, and I want to make sure that so that when I flatten, everything is gone. Otherwise, if you don't have it set that way, you'll have to flatten and then you'll have to cancel any orders that are just sitting out there. So yeah, so for Mike, trading off the chart, your jam, you never use the DOM. I actually, you know what I never do? I never click into the DOM ever. Never. I've never placed an order myself on the DOM. I rarely, if ever, right click and place an order. Sometimes I will, but like almost never, like maybe one out of 1,000. All my trades originate from my trade window. Really only because, if you want to know the truth, because I have this sitting off to the side, I don't know what it is, but my fingers just know where the buttons are. I never even have to look at it. Okay, so I just automatically know where it's at. I'm watching my order flow, and then when I see it, I just nail the entry. I don't want, if I had this over here, I'd be looking over here. I don't know. Just, I think it's because I've been doing it for about 8 years. So my brain's just programmed that way. Let's see here. So yes, so you can right click. And like I said, when you right click, that whatever is in this menu right here is available to customize under this global settings, customize chart trade menu, pick whatever you want, buy market, put it over here, add a separator. I'm going to move that up. And then you can do sell market, hit OK, right click, and now you have buy market, sell market under there too. All right. Not my thing, but you know, I've been doing this long. I'm just an old dog, man. I just don't, I'm not looking to change. But I think I answered your question there, Craig. Let's see. You can also right click. It's okay. Yeah. FT Steve, thank you for pointing that out, man. You're right. FT Steve is in the pit. So I'm glad you pointed that out for me. Bish, I mean, you can also use like, yeah, I mean, you can have hotkeys. Let me tell you something right now. Probably a reason why I did not mention hotkeys is because me personally, I had one of the worst experiences using hotkeys ever. So I won't even talk about them. I don't know much. I know how to set them up, configure, customize keyboard shortcuts. Okay. So I know it is in here. Me personally, I had the worst experience ever. I had set them up and I was marketing in 10 lots. And I thought I was canceling or flattening that position. And I don't know what it was, but I kept on entering in 10 lots rather than flattening my position. And I froze. I literally froze because I was like, fuck, I'm like, cancel. And I'm adding 10 lots, completely user error. I get that. I finally flattened out, no damage. And I've never looked at hotkeys again, ever. Like I won't use them. It is certainly a way to do order execution, but let me tell you something right now. I'm not the guy. I am not the guy to tell you how to do it. So I'm going to just ignore this and stick to the stuff that I know at least somewhat. It's not hotkeys. And actually just looking at hotkeys kind of gives me a PTSD. So, all right. So let's see. Been there, done that. I was lucky that I was in profit. Yes. Okay. So assume cancel all does that also. Yes. So Tom, cancel all will cancel everything. However, I like to just be able to hit flatten and cancel everything. Okay. I never want to have orders sitting out there, and believe me, it does happen. All right. So let's see here. This video will be available. Yes. So I'm gonna put it on YouTube. Like I said, guys, there's so much, even more so than the last webinar. There's so much to cover in this particular topic. I'm just going to stick to what I know very well. Feel free to reach out and, afterwards, and we can get into it, but I don't want to be here for 3 hours. And I know a lot of people got burnt out after 3 hours last time. Let's see here. Yes, Mike, I did get off easy. Yeah, Craig, I'm not doing it. I don't even want assume we go to chart graphic settings to change the background color and font. Okay, so that's actually so Dr. Bill, that is actually a good question. I actually have a chart. I actually have a video about that on YouTube, but I'll show you here real quick. And then I am going to get to the questions that were sent before the meeting started. So a couple things. There is let's just go under global graphic settings because I'm gonna answer this very quick for you, Dr. Bill. There are trade DOM color settings and there are chart DOM color settings. Okay, these chart DOM color settings, okay, govern this chart DOM right here that I'm circling with my mouse. Okay. For the trade DOM, if I open up a trade window, let's see here. Let me go here. If I open up a trade window and DOM for chart, okay, this guy right here, this particular color settings is governed by, let me go ahead and get this, trade DOM. Okay, trade DOM being under, so those color settings are governed by, so let me pull this back up. These color settings are governed by the trade DOM color settings. So you have the chart DOM color settings and you have the trade DOM color settings. A question that I'm asked all the time is, hey man, I'm updating your chart book. I'm trying to update the color settings and nothing's happening when I hit apply. Okay. I'll get it to you, Dr. Bill. I'll remember it, and when I send out the email to the video, I'll send that one out as well. But what you have to understand is a lot of people come in, especially when they get my chart book, and they're like, okay, I'm updating the trade DOM color settings. I hit apply, and nothing's happening. Something's broken. What's wrong? It's because they're not updating the chart DOM color settings. All right. And vice versa. Okay. So you have to make sure that you are updating the color settings for the DOM that you are looking at. Any way to show the average price based on profit and loss on chart? Vic H, I do not know. Any way to show the average price based on your profit and loss on the chart? I actually don't even understand that question, if you want to know the truth. Based on your profit and loss, the average price based on your profit and loss. That's where you're throwing me with the based on the profit and loss. I just do not know. I apologize. Well, yes, you can trade, show orders and position, but based on the profit and loss, that's what's getting me. I mean, you can show your average price as you enter into orders, and if you add to your orders will update to your average price. Now, what you mean by based on profit and loss, that's where you're getting me at. Okay. So let's see here. So, all right, I'm going to get to what is the chart book setting you are showing? Yes, this is being recorded. All right, so what is the chart book setting you are showing? Jeffrey, can you be a little bit more specific? And then I am getting to these questions that we were asked to start before the deal. Because I'll sit here and just answer questions all day long, and then never get to the pre-submitted questions. All right. Well, Jeffrey, I'm going to let you go ahead and ask that question a little bit differently, and I'm going to get to these questions. So, all right. So we use stop and limit orders. This is a question that was asked prior to the meeting. We use stop and limit orders with the ability to preset the stop and profit prices and have them automatically placed when the trade is entered. Okay, so that's actually pretty much the easiest way to. Let me go ahead and just go here. I'm just going to nuke these. So there are studies you can add to the chart that will show P&L. Well, you can actually add your P&L. Like you can see your P&L. Although I prefer never to see my P&L. Like that's just my thing. I don't want to see it. It impacts the way that I take a trade or that I manage a trade. I just kind of know in the back of my head, all right, this got hit and this got stopped, and it is what it is. How do you set up the DOM on the left-hand side? So are you talking about this DOM that I had opened up right here? How do you set that up? I'll get into that. So, but let's just say, okay, so let's go in here and let's do this. Okay, so we want to have a profit take and a stop loss when we enter in. So let's just go ahead and select one lot. Okay, we're going to add a target. Okay, so let's say that we want that target to be in ticks, a limit, and let's go ahead and add our stop. Okay, so the first time and the second time that you click add, it's going to take your one lot because you have one lot selected over here. You can make that as many lots as you want. I'm just, for my argument's sake, we're just going to do one. And then you can say, all right, I want a stop at 10 ticks and I want a target at 10 ticks. Okay, so that's just your basic setup right there. And if you come in here and just mark it in, you can see I've got my order entry right here. What at well, I just click mark it in, right? It automatically gives me a profit take of 10 ticks, and it automatically gives me a stop loss of 10 ticks. Now, you can do all sorts of things to this. You know, you can set a trail to break even. You can, you can set it to whatever you want. You can set it to, 20 ticks, and you can set this to 12. I'm on normal market conditions at a 7 tick stop, and normally you're like right around a 20 tick profit take. But there's many things that you can do to this. You can say, all right, for my stop, I want it to trail to break even. Okay, so for step 2, come in here and do a trail to break even offset trigger. I just tend to do this, and then you can have it even set to offset. So if you want to set it to trail to break even plus 2 ticks, you can do that. Man, I wish it was that easy in normal life. I'm about to get hit on this. Now, on my next order, because it's not going to work on this order, basically with that setup, you can have it set to trail to break even offset plus 2, meaning that once this went in my favor, it would trail my break even to break even plus 2. Now, also, you can always do this. You can just hit break even right here, and it sucks this is the break even button. It just moves my stop directly to break even. So my profit just got hit on 10 ticks, and it wipes out everything. So that actually answered the second question as well. Limit orders with a bracket, target, and the stop loss. So that is the most simple way that you can add. Like I said, you start with the blank screen, hit add, it gives you a stop, it gives you a target. If you want your stop set to 20 ticks and you want your profit target to be set to 40, there you go. That's as simple as it gets. You hit buy, and it gives you your 40 tick profit take and your 20 tick stop loss. And it's about as simple as that. So that's the first 2 questions. Well, okay, that's a good point, Mike. Man, thank God I've got Mike here. So that's a good point. So remember, if you like this, if this is your setup, then what you want to do is you want to come in here, hit M, and hit save configuration. And then down here, you're going to say, all right, well, for me, I do like 20 tick stop loss, 40 tick profit take, 1 lot. All right, so I do that. Okay, now when I come over here, you can see it setting here, 20 tick stop loss, 40 tick profit take, 1 lot. So if I ever click away from it and it switches it up, right, then I can come back into, and so if I do that, you'll see that it puts something else in here, right? Well, let's say I want to go back to the 20 tick stop loss, 40 tick profit take. All I have to do is click that. It selects 1 lot automatically, puts this into play. The next time I enter in a trade, it's going to put that trade management profile in there. It's all right, Mike. You're not that. I'm glad you're here. I got Mike direct messaging me in the webinar, and he's obviously very, very educated in this, more so than me. I just have to get through this or we'll never get out of here. So here we go. So I'm going to flatten that out and cancel that. So let's see. Don't forget to save M. Yes. So save M. So I clicked M and I saved that configuration. That puts it in this list. Okay. So let's see here. Okay. Here's the thing that I wanted to mention. Someone said, or they sent something in, or in the support board, and they said, MT4 has some great tools and there was a risk reward management tool. I'm not going to touch on that. I did actually see that you put that in there. I would just tell you this. There is no study out there. There's no tool out there that can give you the right risk reward. It might be fun to look at and stuff like that. But what I would recommend is you have risk reward is such a big deal. There's no study out there that's going to be able to tell you risk reward for every trade that you take is going to be a little bit different. Risk reward for market conditions is going to be completely different. Normal market conditions, I can trade a 7-tick stop that trails to break even with no problem all day long with a 9-tick initial profit take and then a 20-tick secondary profit take. Market changes, I might have to go to 20 ticks, 25 ticks. It's just, there's no tool that's going to be able to, really give you a good risk reward. And if you listen, I'm not trying, you know what, as a matter of fact, I'm going to do this, and believe me, I'm not trying to get people to go to my website, but I will say this. I'm going to put a link out here. I highly recommend you watch this when you have time about defining risk. All right. So I'm going to put this out there. If you have time, this will kind of help you out with defining risk. Everything is just different. So I can't comment on MT4 and their risk reward tool. All I would say is I would never, ever in a million years use a tool to help me define my risk and reward. Depends on how much size I'm putting on, what the conditions of the market are. But yeah, so I just can't comment on that. I'm sure it's a cool tool, but I would tell you all this.
New visitor.
When I got away from custom studies and tools and stuff like that to kind of give me a comfort zone for trading, I always traded like ass. When I got to removing custom studies and stuff like that and really taking the reins and learning how to manage my own risk and learning how to put on a trade based on order flow, my trading infinitely got better. So yeah, so I'm not going to say that MT4 doesn't have a good tool. I'm just saying there's no way in hell I would ever let a tool tell me what my risk and reward should be. Okay, so you love seeing horizontal line. Okay, here's a good one right here. You love, and I probably just made Mike's head explode saying that, but okay, so this is a good, so I love seeing the horizontal lines on a chart where my orders are. Okay, so we've seen that happens, right? When you place an order. Now, you have to have this set. You love seeing the horizontal lines on your chart. So on your charts, you have to have show orders and position, okay? If you don't have show orders and position checked, you're not going to see your orders and position. I love to see it too. The problem some people have is, and I have it at times, is it allows me, when I see the orders out here, I'm just going to get into a position. it allows me when you see the lines, okay, you're showing your orders and your positions. If you have chart trade mode on, it kind of lets me grab them and drag them, okay? And that can be a problem, all right? I think people are better traders when they allow their trade management styles to kind of do the thing. Now, listen, there's sometimes when you have to drag your positions around and, look, the market's changing and, well, shit, I don't want to take a full loss. So let me go ahead and put it underneath this buy and balance, sell and completed auction, because if we do take out that buy and balance, likelihood of my stop getting hit is great, right? So I'm going to drag it up there. So there are times when, okay, I get it. But most of the time, we're all better off with just letting our trade management style dictate itself. Now, if you have a problem dragging your stops around, then you can always come up here and
New visitor.
And turn off the chart trade mode. Now, when you turn off the chart trade mode, you can't have the chart trade DOM on, but what you can do, you can't drag around your order entries. So a lot of times what will happen for me, if I go into a period of my life where I just can't stop touching my my stops, I will turn this off and literally take away my ability to touch my stops. I'm not having that problem right now, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that on. But you just have to understand that. Let me go ahead and turn this back
New
on.
visitor.
Okay, so you have to understand that it does give you the ability, but yes, so there you go. So there you have your lines going across. Now, the second part of your question, and I don't have the names here, you said you wanted to have a DOM that closely resembles Transact. Well, I happen to use Transact early on in my it was my first broker ever. Love those guys, Vito and those guys, all good people. But I had to move on. So I tried to mimic their DOM for you, okay, in colors, because I don't know exactly what you like about their trade DOM, but this is their out of the box trade DOM. So you certainly can mimic pretty closely the Transact DOM. And I don't know who exactly asked that question, but if you do listen to this and you're like, hey, I can't figure out how to set it up myself, I will create it for you and give you and send it to you. So just reach out to me through my website or whatever. Oh, Dr. Bill. Okay. So, I mean, Dr. Bill, is this kind of getting close? Listen, I was wondering if you really wanted the buttons rearranged, right? So, and let me see, someone actually sent me, someone is still on Transact, and they sent this to me. And this is basically what I was going off of right here. Okay, so I have it essentially mimicked, but the one thing that you can't do, which I don't know if it's what you like, is arranging the buttons around the way you want. Now, it might be available in CR Chart. I looked. I couldn't find it. I think they had said, but I can't imagine wanting to be able to drag buttons around or whatever. But anyways, or building that functionality in, that's very heavy, wonky technology. But I don't know exactly what you wanted, but I did pretty much mimic. Yeah, I didn't think you could. So, but at least the look and feel, right? So you can get there. And with the added benefit, Dr. Bill, that you can do some of the very, very cool things that CR Chart allows us to do in terms of adding studies or copying over levels, that sort of thing to your trade DOM. So that is it's the Transact close with a lot more functionality.
New visitor.
So there you go. So I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad I got to answer that. All right, so let me see here real quick. Hey, Bish, it's Omar. I have a question about order entry on the DOM. Say I want to bid 85. How can I see the line when I put my cursor at 44.85? Are you talking like the right-click crosshair? Is that what you're talking about? If I have a question on the order entry on the DOM. If I want to bid 85 Oh, you're talking about about the trade DOM standalone. Okay, gotcha. Well, shit, man, that's a good question. Let's figure it out. I don't use the trade DOM, so this is going to be a new one for me. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and hide. You know, if I can't figure this out, Omar, I'm going to give you shit for the next forever. So I don't think you can have the crosshairs. Now let's see if Mike can tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think that you can have the crosshair on the trade DOM. I don't think that you can. Because you're saying, because that's what you're looking for, right, Omar? So you want to bid 85. How can I see the line when I put my cursor at 44.85? Right now, I don't see anything, but I'm able to still put the order in. Of course, yeah. I don't think that you can have the cursor on here. Let me just look in this real quick. I don't think you can. I don't think you can, but that would be a cool ad.
New visitor.
Think about it. That would be a cool ad. I don't use this, so I wasn't familiar with it. I don't use the trade DOM. So, but yeah, you would think it would be right in here, right? So I don't think you can, Omar, but that would be a good ad. I'll see if I can ask somebody to see if they can make that happen. There might be a very good reason why they don't allow it to happen, but because they allow you to put studies and chart drawings and stuff over here, I would think that you would be able to do the crosshairs as well. And maybe you can, and I just don't know. I can't, but we'll figure that out. Okay, so let's go.
New visitor.
Let's see here. Let's go to the next question. And I know, listen, everybody, man, we're already at an hour in, so you can understand why I'm trying to talk fast. It just is what it is. I want to respect everyone's time. I love seeing, okay, so let's see. So we answer that. I want to be able to increase the okay, this is a good one too. You want to be able to increase the text size on the DOM and trade window. Okay, so this is a good one. All right, they're all good ones, but this is a good one because I get asked this quite a bit about fonts. So let's just bring this guy back over here, okay? You got to go under chart, all right, graphic settings. Now there's a couple different ones, okay? So you might come down here and remember, this is only if, remember, you only come under chart graphic settings if you do not have this box checked, okay? If you have this box checked, you have to go under global graphic settings, okay? Because I have this set to what I thought I could get close to with transact, we're gonna go and not use global, we're gonna use these. So you come under font, and what you wanna look for, trade window, okay, first of all, the trade window buttons, you can see I already messed with it and it didn't do anything. All right. So it says trade window buttons, but I've updated it and it does not do anything for the buttons. So that might just be broken functionality. But you can see right here when I do it, it just doesn't do anything. And Mike, it doesn't work, man. I've tried it a million times. If you could look, trade window buttons, come in here. Let's just set it to 18 bold italic, apply. Doesn't do anything. Okay. So might be broken functionality. That's a question that I'm going to have out to Ray. Now, if you want the price scale, okay, if you want the price to increase in size, it's chart text. Okay. So come in here. Select bold, select 16, hit OK, hit apply. Okay, bam. All right. Now, but what you can see is it didn't do anything to the orders. Okay. So for that, you have to come under DOM quantity and sizes. Go 16, bold, OK, and bam. So that is how you increase the font sizes. All right. And believe me, I don't see so well anymore either. So we're in the same boat. But that's how you would increase. That's how you would increase the font size. Okay. So, it's under font. So, but like I said, here, if this is not governed by global graphics settings, if you come under fonts and you come under the trade window buttons, no matter what you do here, it doesn't impact the buttons. All right, so that's how you increase the font size on your thing. And actually, I kind of like it kind of big too. Let's see, James, you may have missed it. Where is the text color for the buy sell columns on the chart, Dom? Let me get to that in a second, James. I will get to that, but let me get to that in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and nuke that DOM. Like I said, Dr. Bill, if you want me to build you a Transact DOM and send it your way, just hit me up on my website or an email. I think that question actually came in an email, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was on the website. I don't know. All right. So how can I set up a manual stop loss in my DOM without using OCO function? Okay. Now, there might be a much, I have a very simple way of doing that. Well, okay, so listen, you guys just hit me up on the website later and with whatever you want. And for people that are in this webinar, I'll do my best to accommodate it. So, okay, so this is the easiest way. I already set this up. So I have no targets. I have a no target deal, right? So I can literally come in here. I can come in here, and the question was, how can I set up a manual stop loss in my DOM without using the OCO function? And I didn't copy the second half. The second half of that question, I believe, was they want to be able to put a stop loss in, okay, but without a profit take. So they want to put a stop loss in and then at some point hit market order. Now, I don't know why you'd want to do that. Not my business. But what I did was, I'm going to show you an easy way to do it. So I just came over to here and I nuked all of these. I just removed them all. Okay. And I come over here and I just save this as, let's just do no targets 2. Okay. So now I have no targets 2, and I don't have any targets or stops. Okay. So you can use, you can uncheck attached orders and place stops wherever you want, of course. But if you just want to have a trade profile where you're like, okay, well, right now I want to have it set to this trade management profile. Okay, well, now I just want to come in here and do this. Then you can come in here and you can just say, all right, well, right here, I'm going to put a sell stop. All right. And I don't have, do I have this? Well, I put it too close. My bad. So let me flatten out of that. So I can come in here and let's just say, just come in here and I say, all right, well, I want to put I put a sell stop in. I meant to put a buy stop. So if I want to put a buy stop in here, okay. So I put a buy stop in there and I've got no other orders out there. Okay. Now, I'm assuming that this is the scenario that you want. You're like, okay, well, if it does pull back into here, I've already got my stop in there. I don't know why you'd want that, but that's none of my business. If the market dropped right through your level, you're going to be short. So the reason why I wouldn't do this is because let's just say Putin decides to drop a nuclear bomb on Ukraine, heaven forbid. But this is a bad example. But let's just say Trump trade news comes out, okay? And the market decides to drop right through your level that you have sitting out here because you're waiting to say, come in here and just do a buy, okay? So you just bought and you have a stop under here. Okay, well, now you're protected, okay? If the market drops, you'll get stopped out of your entry. But if you come in here and you do this, and you're like, okay, well, I want to put a stop loss down here, and then I'll figure out where I want to get. I figure out where I want to get long. That could be a little bit dangerous. And Amy, you're saying it's called naked. Yeah, you're definitely naked with this thing sitting out here. You're definitely sitting in front of the class with no clothes on. There's no doubt about that. So that's not my thing, but hey, man, you do you. Now let's get to the what's a link to my website? Let's see here, right here. So, okay. Whew, man, I always get like, and I know Mike Finelli, his head's about to explode because I'm just running over so much stuff.
New visitor.
Being an hour and 15 minutes in, and we're still not through just all the asked questions. And we have questions that I'm going to get to that are in the chat. How to configure the POC daily for 1 week in the chart. The POC daily for 1 week in the chart. I don't know who asked this. If you're here, explain to me how to configure the POC daily for 1 week in the chart. That threw me for a loop. Maybe it's a very simple question, but the POC daily for 1 week, you lost me. So hit me up. Let me know. I'm familiar with POCs. I mean, I have POCs multiple ways. I've got session POCs. I've got the POC for my footprint, which is based on the data available. But that question did throw me off. All right, why are people messaging me in the pit? Okay, I'm sorry. Let me see what's going on here real quick. 1 second. Okay, Cookie's letting me know that he put an interesting link in the pit. I thought maybe I was getting messed with something. Weekly POC versus daily. Well, I mean, there's studies out there that can do that. But if you want a weekly POC, I would recommend doing like a weekly volume profile and just highlighting the POC on that. Arthur, if that was you, then hit me up on my website and I'll create you something that'll do that for you. I just don't want to get into that right now because we have a lot of DOM questions to get through. If that's all right. So Greg, I'm with you there. I personally would use a volume by price study, and I would set it up for the week and I would highlight the POC in the volume by price. But if you can't figure it out, like I said, hit me up and I'll help you out. Okay. And someone just messaged me. The special offer that I put together for this webinar, I'm going to leave it up until 5 o'clock. So that's that. All right, so let's get to a question that we had up here. I'm through the questions those were all the questions that were submitted. So I think I hit them all. If I glossed over anything, always reach out to me. I'm more than willing to work with you guys. I typically work with people only in the pit, but now that I'm doing these webinars for a SEER chart, I'm happy to when we're a lot relaxed and we're not under time for people that I can work with you. I will. Okay. So what was the question again? It was how to color the DOM. I'm looking up for the question. Give me a second. All right. Well, let's just open it up. If you asked a question recently, feel free to ask it again because I can't find the question that I was trying to get back to. Why can't I find it? Oh, here it is. Okay. May have missed it. Where is the text color for the buy sell columns on the chart DOM? Okay. So once again, so I use the chart DOM. I mean, this is my trade screen. If you're in the pit, I share this daily. execute my trades on it. This is my baby right here. Okay. So in order to update the buy and sell columns, all right, remember, my chart book is governed by global settings. Okay. Believe me, I have done many chart books, and I've had chart books govern themselves on colors, and then you have to go through and change color. It's just not worth it. So all of my chart colors are governed by global settings. So if you go under global settings, graphic settings, global. All right, open question to the group. Which color settings am I configuring? The chart DOM. I'm going to go ahead and answer it for you. So come down to chart DOM. The white text in the buy sell, the white text in the buy sell is what you're after. Okay, so these are your resting orders, right? So you would come under, let's see here. You can see chart DOM buy order quantity text, sell order quantity text. I have them disabled. And maybe those aren't the right ones. Geez, you're going to ask me this on the fly, man. Okay, so let me get to resting orders. I just got to find it. That wasn't the right one. So we have, let's see here. You have the background. And, oh, it's the depth, ask depth quantities right here. Okay, so come in here and you can change these. See how that just changed them all to green? So it's the DOM ask depth quantities and the DOM bid depth quantities. All right. So if I came in here and I did that, now you can see that they're updated. All right. But I'm not going to have that. I like them white. So there you go. Whew, man, put me on the spot to find, like, the coloring is it leaves a lot to be, it's hard. There's so many different options. Okay, hey, Bish, can you explain the different attached orders? The different attached orders. Man, we might have to have a different webinar for that, because that is going to absolutely take a while to get into all the different attached orders. Pierre, if you the answer is yes, we could, but being an hour and 15 minutes into this, brother, man, we might have to have another webinar for that. And I'll see if Ray wants to do that. But yes, maybe for another webinar. How about that? What is a special? Well, here you go. Like, this is here you go. So I did something for the last webinar, and I did something for this webinar, and there it is. So basically, it's the 99 plus you get the tools of order flow, group session that I taught at the beginning of this year. I recorded the sessions, and they come with the 99. So let's see. Bingo thing. So what are you trying to accomplish for attached? First, ask yourself how many lots. Where's your first take profit, second take profit? Right. So that was for Pierre. That's right. So Pierre, I mean, he basically just answered it right there. The problem is, it's not just as simple as, like, that is a very simple way of putting it. Okay. Now, there are a ton of different types of attached orders and functionality and stuff like that. And you can see right there, Mike Finelli just put up the link to Sierra chart. But like I said, that's a long conversation more than likely. But at its most simplest form, Pierre, if you're asking, that's what James just answered. Okay. So if you're saying different attached orders, which is a long conversation. If you're talking about just having attached orders, so for example, for me, I have this particular trade set up, right? And I have different setups with different attached orders at different levels doing different things. So for example, this would be for ES, okay? This would be for ES, all right? Now for the NQ, I have a different set, right? I've got a 2 lot with a 40 tick stop, but it triggers, okay? So when it moves when it moves to 28 and takes my first profit off, it snaps, it triggers to my break even. And then after it runs another set of, it triggers my runner to go break even +7. Okay. So there's so many different ways to set it up, and man, that's a big conversation, but there is the link right there. And remember, Sierra Chart has amazing documentation if you're into that sort of thing. Let's see here. Reason weekly POC, create weekly chart and then add a study to another other chart of choice and use the study price overlay. Of course, you can certainly do that, Sharon. Like I said, my preference is to have a volume profile. I don't like the other studies that calculate the POCs. Everything that I do that has a POC on it, me personally, is based on a volume by price.
New visitor.
But, you know, there's many, many different ways to do it in Sierra Chart. Okay. Other questions? Now we're just kind of, you only use a few types of order, but I see there are a lot of options. I guess it is, listen, man, there are more options. And quite frankly, I probably know a fraction of them. So that's why I said that could be probably a webinar all on its own. And I would need some ample time to get brushed up on all the different types. But if you look at that documentation, it's very, very thorough. It's just, you know, man, that's like I said, a long conversation. So what else? I mean, we're going on, when did we start this? Geez, 12:30. So we're going on almost an hour and a half. I want to open it up to whatever questions you guys might have. You know, my thing is order flow and the DOM. So if you have any questions about the DOM, I'm more than happy to answer those. I trade off the chart, the trade window, so I can answer any questions off of that. Like I said, when you set up a trade, excuse me, I need to take a drink real quick. Let's see, can you tell me what is happening in each column of your chart DOM? Sorry, frog in my throat. Yeah, absolutely. So this right here is where it all, so basically what I do on a day-to-day basis is for pre-market, and you can go to my YouTube channel, I post all my pre-market videos. I step down from a high time frame daily. I step down in time frame, and ultimately what I end up to, Ray, is I trade off of my levels that I've determined that are interesting to me, low volume nodes and whatnot, and I let the price come into my levels, and I trade based upon what's happening with the order flow. Now, when you walk from a volume by price, which is, people call it order flow, but it's really orders that flowed because it is dynamic and it's painting as trade is occurring. But as you identify those levels, when the price, and the footprint is real-time order flow as well. Every time this thing ticks around, you're watching real orders paint these things. You know, I've got videos on it that are in the pit, but for our purposes, for your question, when the price moves into one of my levels, okay, and this was actually asked in the pit open group, so it's a good question. What is my order of priority? Okay, So I'm watching the price come into a level. This right here is the 20K Bollinger Band mid. All right. When the price pulls back into here, I'm looking for, okay, I'm pulling back into the mid. I'm pulling back into a POC. All right. This is a POC for me. This is how I color it out. So I know it's a POC. I don't have to think about it. I am looking at the DOM and I'm looking at it from right to left. Now, understand this. I have been watching this for many, many years. Okay. So I see all of this I don't see just these columns right here. I see everything all at once. Now it might take some getting used to, but that's just me after looking at it for so long. But if you were to ask me in the order of importance, when it pulls back into one of my levels, what do I want to know? Okay. Did they stack the bid? This is your stacked bid column. All right. Did they stack the bid into my level? Okay. What is that telling me? That's telling me there's bid support. Okay. They stacked the bid into my level. Perfect. Did I have aggressive buyers at my level? 175 lifted the offer. Absolutely. So not only, and you can see the stack is still here. So not only did they stack the bid into my level, but they also aggressively lifted the offer. Okay. Now, I had to think about it when someone asked me that the other day, because I'm like, you know what? I don't have an order of importance. I just see it all at the same time. But that is the order of importance. Okay. It pulls back into my level. Do they stack the bid, providing me bid support? Do they aggressively lift the offer? I want to buy with buyers. So that's a buy for me. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Is it a buy for me? I look for faded volume, completed auctions, and imbalances to take trades off of my levels. I didn't get that. So it doesn't even matter that I had bid support or that I had aggressive buyers. Okay. I didn't get the setup on the footprint. So what does that mean? That means I will look at this bar POC. The next candle that opens up, does it pull back into this bar POC where clearly these buyers took control? And then do I get stacked bids? And then do I still have aggressive buying so that I can get long off of that? What is the stacking the bid? So you have resting orders out here and you have people piling orders on top of them. That is the easiest high level explanation I can give you. Okay. If the price is pushing down, you'll see them pulling the bids. Okay. They are pulling bids off the stack. So there's 25. There was 56. They just pulled 25. Okay. Now they're adding. All right. So it's the pulling of the stacking on the resting offers or bids. Okay.
New visitor.
So they're stacking bids up, or they're pulling bids off, or they're stacking offers on, or they're pulling offers off. So for me, every day when I'm trading in the pit and I'm live and you're hearing me on the mic, I'm telling people, I'm saying, all right, listen, what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for a stacked bid and aggressive buying. So that means that the price probably fell into that level with a pulled bid. Okay. When you have a stacked offer, so you can see right here, they're pulling offers at the price. Okay. See how they're going negative? The path of least resistance would be to the high side. Okay. So yes, adding is stacking, removing is pulling. Yes. Okay. So what I'm looking for into my levels is I'm looking for them to stack it up, and I'm looking for them to pull offers, and I'm looking for aggressive buyers. And when you have aggressive buyers in a stacked bid, generally what you will see, if you're not in chop, which we are right now, clearly, you will see them pull the offers. Because why? If there's no one selling or able to get through the stack, they will pull the offers and the price will just move higher. Okay. And you'll go to where you can find sellers, and where you find sellers, they will stack the bid and the price will rotate back down. Does that make sense? So is the pulling and stacking just enabling you the math easier? No doubt, Greg, because when I initially started trading futures, I had what? I had this. Let me see if I can get it back up here real quick. When I initially started trading futures, give me 1 second, I had this right here. with transact. Okay. No pulling, no stacking, no aggressive buying or selling. Although they'll probably tell you that that's what this is. But the fact of the matter is, I was just doing it in my head. I could just see by virtue of this. I believe this is NQ. She sent me an NQ chart, but I was only trading the ES, and I could literally see 500 drop to 200. Okay, they pulled 300. 200 went to 500. Okay, they added 500. So I was literally doing the math in my head. It does bring back nightmare a little bit, you know. I mean, listen, but it is what it is, and people trade successfully on it. So I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it was just doing the calculus in my head about what was going on. Then you fast forward to using CR chart and trading off a CR chart, and we get a much, much easier tool set to use to identify stacking, to identify aggressive buying, aggressive selling. Okay. So when I pull into one of my levels and I see them stack the bid and I see that they are aggressively lifting the offer, I want to get long. Yeah, no calculus. Yeah, I know, but most people treat it like it is calculus. So, and if we're selling, then I want to see them stack the offer and I want to see them aggressively hit the bid. And I will get short against my level because I know that I'm selling with sellers and I know that I've got offer support. I know that I'm buying with bid support and with aggressive buying. So that to me is how I base my trades. And I base my trades off of levels like this because I can easily manage my risk. So that's how people will tell me all the time, well, I've got I got an 8-point stop. Why the hell do you have an 8-point stop? If you need an 8-point stop to trade, you're either swing trading or you have shitty entries. There is no other explanation. Or you just haven't figured out how to get your stop closer to your entry. But the fact of the matter is, I can live with a 7-tick stop that trails to break even because my entries are extremely specific and they are based off of buying with buyers or selling with sellers with a stacked bid, with the stacked offer. I do have delta down here. I have bar delta, okay? I do not use cumulative delta. And as a matter of fact, in the pit, we did an amazing course. Gary Hoover did an amazing course in the pit, delta as a tool. So how do you add stacking and removing? Okay. Well, I mean, look, we still have a good group here. Do y'all want me to build a DOM for you real quick? I can build a DOM from scratch for you real quick if you want. Okay. All right. So let's just do this. Let's go under, remember, we go under File, and we're going to open Trading DOM for chart. Okay. So this is your base out the box DOM. Okay. Now, granted, it's got my color scheme set to it. Okay. So Dr. Bill, you can see how this kind of starts out kind of looking like the transact, right? Okay. Whew, let me take a drink real quick. All right. Don't worry, it's just vodka. Okay, so with this trade DOM, okay, so this is a trade window with a DOM. I call it the trade DOM. All right, go under trade and go under customize chart trade DOM columns. Okay, it's going to bring up this window right here. We'll set this over to this side. Now I'm going to take you through my specific setup. Okay, you can do it however you want, but I'm only going to do the way I do it. So first things first, what we want is I move the price to the first one. And on top of that, I'm going to put a general purpose column to give me a little bit of space. Okay. Just hit apply. All right. So you can see it. You know what? Let me do this real quick. Hang on a second. Let me just get rid of this. So we're just looking at this right here. Okay. All right. So chart, customize trade DOM columns. Okay. Brings up this window. So I give myself a little bit of space for the general purpose column, and I left align my price. Now, what I want to see is I want to see the market orders, the orders that are marketing in, okay? Hitting the bid, lifting the offer, okay? So that's going to be your recent bid and your recent ask. Hit apply. All right, so now we're seeing the market orders lifting the offer, hitting the bid, okay? Now, something that I like, you could probably do without, you might like it, I don't know, but the volume histogram, because I'm a huge volume profile guy, I always want to know where the volume is. So I add, let's see, the current traded bid volume and the current traded ask volume. Now, here's the thing. By itself, you're just getting the volume. That does not do me any good. I need the histogram. I'm a visual guy. I don't want to sit here and have to freaking know that there's 4,088 versus 4,396. I just want to see big ass volume. So if I go to the bid and I do show volume bars and I want to right align that because I like them butted up against each other. And I go to the current traded ask volume and I do left align, show volume bars, and I hit apply. So that gives me my volume histogram, okay? So I know that there's thin volume up here, lack of interest in trading, and I know that there's thin volume down here, lack of interest in trading. So you can base trades on that, all right? So now what we want to do is we want to add the pooling and stacking. I like my pooling and stacking to sit between my resting bids and offers, okay? These are resting bids and offers. So come in here and I'm going to do the bid depth pulling and stacking and the ask market depth pulling and stacking. Hit apply. All right. So now I can see my pulling and stacking. All right. The way I have it set up, when this goes flat negative red, I know they pulled all the bids. When this goes flat negative green, I know they pulled all the offers. Right now, we're just in balance. So we're just sitting here and it's stacked on both sides, and it's just kind of flipping back and forth. The computers are just chopping up retail traders. Then what I have is I have the MBOs, and a lot of people always ask me, do you like how do you like the MBOs? How are they good? The MBOs are definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. So I go to bid market orders and the ask market orders column. All right. And then I put a general purpose 2 at the very bottom to give me a little bit of space to the right. So what that does is that gives me the MBOs. Okay. Shows me where, and the market by order is, so right here, there's 186 resting. There is a single order, and mine are 50 or greater. There's a single order of 60 sitting out here. It's one order of 60 lots. All right. So that's the DOM. I mean, and listen, I just had this question today. So does it, well, here, let me open it up. Does anyone have any questions on that? And of course, and let me tell you something real quick. This is such a powerful DOM. If you come in here and you add under chart settings, I know it's chart number 6, I can bring my levels into the DOM, okay? So I can see on the DOM, if all I wanted to do was trade the DOM, as we get up to the previous day high, I know that's the previous day high because that's the only line that I have on my chart that's solid red. So as we rotate higher, what do I want to see at the previous day high? I want to see buy, responsive sellers are going to be there, right? So you want to see the DOM stack up on the offer, and you want to see aggressive selling hitting the bid against the previous day high. So there are so many cool things that you can actually do with the Sierra chart trade DOM that quite frankly, you could just reduce what you look at and literally look just at your levels and trade order flow based on those levels with this particular look right here. Now, granted, like I said, I'm a volume by price guy, so I can put the volume by price over here, apply that, And not only can I have my levels copied over from my charts, but I can also have a volume by price on here as well. Now, this is not how I like to have my volume by price. My volume by price always looks like this, but that's just a matter of configuration. Okay. So that is the trade DOM. And like I said, you can have this and you can place orders directly on this. You know, if you want to get long down here at 85.25, just click 85.25. Simple as that. If the price, you know, if the price dips under your level, you know, and it's just, I don't know. Like I said, I could beat this horse. I want to leave it open to you guys. I know we've been going on for a while now. But yeah, there you go. This is not my particular setup itself because I strictly trade off the footprint. And I'm using the DOM with those exact same levels set up like this against it. So listen, once again, I feel like this is just, you know, feeding you guys with a fire hose. And I apologize about that because, you know, it is such, I'm only an expert at my particular setup. And I'm happy to answer any questions about that. But beyond that, I think I touched on everything. Mike, who was hammering me with DMs in the webinar, I get it. Like, I know I glossed over a ton of information, but we could spend all day here. We could spend 10 hours here and not even think about it. Any other questions? I mean, certainly, I know this is getting long in the tooth. People have lives and stuff like that. I really hope, if you listen, I'm going to put this out there again. I have a live chat on my website. If you need help with anything, never hesitate to hit me up. I stream live on YouTube almost every day. So go to my YouTube channel. You can get there from my website. I stream live. You can see me run this every single day. You can see exactly how I trade. It's not real time. Real time happens in the pit. YouTube is delayed 15 to 20 seconds. So if you want real time, you just have to join the pit. I don't care if you join the pit. We've got an amazing group in the pit. If it grows another person or not, I'll never care about it. But if you want to, hit me up. If you have questions, let me know. Can we create one more named order type with 2 targets with the break even moving up? Yes, we can, Ray. Okay, absolutely. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'll tell you what, we'll just start from scratch. Let's just do that. So let's just start off with a simple bracket, okay? Or actually, you know what? It doesn't even matter what we start off with. Let's just nuke this. We'll just create a brand from scratch, okay? So you want to have a stop loss and a profit take with your stop loss moving to break even, right, Pierre? Or actually, Ray. It was Ray that asked that. I'm sorry. So what we do is let's just add 2, okay? So you click add twice. It gives you a target and it gives you a stop. So let's say I'm going to just set this up how I typically trade. So on the ES, I generally put a 24 tick profit take, okay? Or shit, that's all right, that's my stop. I generally on normal market days have a 7 to 9 tick stop loss. Let's just call it 9 since we have some volatility in the markets kind of all over the map right now. So let's just say 9 tick stop loss. And I generally like to have this is on a 1 lot. Believe me, I have other more complicated setups, but this is going to answer your question. And let's say I like to have a 20 tick profit take. Okay. So 9 tick stop loss and a 20 tick profit take. All right. Now I want that stop loss to trail to break even, right? So what I do is set it to trail to break even, and I set my break even offset level to 0. Okay. Does that make sense? Oh, shit. I just scrolled. Never scroll. 1 second. Take that back to stop. Okay. Does that make sense? What did I do? Let me just nuke that again. I actually scrolled over some stuff and clicked some stuff. So let's say 9 tick. All right. And let's say this is going to be 20 tick. Okay. And I want this to trail to break even. All right. So let's go ahead and take this over here. And that's my setup right now. And let's mark it in. So what you're going to see is I just marked it in right at the high. So it's probably not even going to go high anymore. Watch as this moves. So you can see my profit take up here, and you've got my stop loss right here. Now I happen to mark it in long at the high because I wasn't watching the chart. But here, let's flatten out and see. Let's see. Watch this go a tick in my favor. It'll suck my stop up a tick. Oh my gosh. Never mind. If I watch this, if I flatten, okay, keep going. So let's just say I did that in real life. Okay. Let's just say that I went long at the high in real life for some idiotic reason. Okay. See what happened? See, as it just moved in my favor, my stop loss got sucked up in my favor. Now, granted, we're at the high, so it's probably not going any higher. But if this thing were to rip right now, it would suck my stop loss straight to break even. Now, what you can do is you can say, all right, well, I want it to suck to break even, but I want it to go 2 ticks beyond break even. So you would set that break even offset level offset to +2. All right. If you want it to trail to break even, but stay 2 ticks behind your entry, you would put it to -2. Okay. Negative, oops, fat finger. You'd put it to -2. That would trail it to break even less 2 ticks. All right. So if you take that and let's just do this, let's go ahead and flatten out of this. All right. And let's go short because we're at the high. We're more likely to go down than we are to go up. So let's just sell in short. Okay. Now watch it rip 20 points. But I'm in sim mode. So I always do well in sim mode. I never do well in, I always do well in sim mode. Okay. So, so now we have it. Now watch it. It should trail to break even if we could get this thing to drop, which it looks like we're building volume up here. So this thing's probably going higher. So as this thing would drop into my favor, it would drag my stop loss to right here. Okay. And it would never get any further. Did that answer your question, Ray? Was that pretty simple in terms of being able to set it up? Okay, perfect. Does SC Web have in-depth from the beginning explanations like we are 7 years old? No. No, it doesn't, man. I'm sorry. Oh, and the 2 targets. So you want, okay, I'm sorry. I totally missed that. Arthur, here's the deal, man. If you go to if you ask me, if you will reach out to me and ask, I'm always willing to help. You don't have to be a member of the pit. I enjoy working with Sierra Chart. I think that they have put together the most solid trading platform that exists. And I'm more than happy to help those guys out and help people out. So if you have a question, man, just ask me. And here's the thing. If you reach out and ask me and say, hey, look, I don't know how to do this. Can you show me? I will create a video and I will put it in my Sierra Chart how to. Oh, you are a member of the pit. Well, shit. Well, come on, man. So if you ask me, I'll create a video and I'll put it out on YouTube under my Sierra Chart how to. All right, watch. Looks like we've got lower highs, completed auctions, faded volume, sell and balance. This thing might come down. Let's see. So look, let's look in real time. So you have a stacked, let's see. So 1100 stacked on the bid. No, we're not coming down. Not right now. 1,100 stacked on the bid, 1,200 stacked on the bid, 400 on the offer. The path of least resistance is higher. So there's no question right now with what you're seeing hit the bid, they don't have what it takes to get through that stack. There's no chance. Oh, let's do this. What's up, man? So there's no chance that they have right now unless they really start hitting the bid. Why? Okay, look at that. They just started hitting the bid. 22, just marked it in. All right. So they're hitting the bid. You're starting to see them pull the bids off the price. All right. So look, sellers are starting to step in. Now look, they're stacking up the offer. The offer is now stacked 665. Let's see if they start pulling the bids. The bid's now trying to get underneath 1,000. Now they're stacking up to 1,200. So there's just a battle right here. Okay. So, but right now with 1,200 stacked on the bid and 700 stacked on the offer, the path of least resistance is higher and they are lifting the offer with size. Okay. So if they can't break this level down, watch what happens. They will pull the bids and they will start hitting the bid with size and they'll stack the offers. But right now, look, there's no sellers here. There's no sellers here able to sell through the stack. Okay. So what happens? They try to stack the bid, but there's no sellers to take out the stack on the bid. So what they're doing is they're getting tired and they're saying, you know what? Well, we'll just let the market come higher and we will sell higher. You know, I mean, that's just how it works, right? So it's really interesting to see what happens in the real time. If they start pulling the bids, watch for the buying to dry up. See, right now they're hitting the bid, they're lifting the offer with size. But if they can't get this thing to go higher, they will pull the bids. You will see the buying dry up. They'll stack the offer and you will see them step in and start hitting the bid. So I know look, man, I get it. Like I just gave y'all probably now see what happens. Look, they've pulled the offers, they pulled the stack off. They're still lifting the offer with size. And look what they did when they got to the high. They start crushing the bid with size. So what happened? They made a new high on the day. They started crushing the bid with size. They tried to stack the offer right then, and they pulled the bids. All right. So now buyers have to step back in and carry this thing up. Or what they've shown you is sellers are willing to try to push this thing down. So anyways, I mean, I know that half y'all are probably like, I could give a shit. But I get excited talking about it. So it is what it is. All right. So I'm sorry, Ray. So you wanted 2 targets. So let's do this. All right. So let's go add. Okay. 3. So now we have a stop, right? And we have 2 targets. Okay. So now we have, let's do this now. Okay. But look, there's a mismatch because we have 3 lots, but we only have 1 lot accounted for. So let's just do this. Let's do, I'll set up my typical one. All right. So I typically do 3. Okay. So on this one, target 1, we're going to do 2 lots. All right. And then we have 1 here. So let's do 3. Oh my gosh. Here, let me do this right here. Go to 3. All right. Set that to 3. Go add. All right. So what that does is we said we wanted 3 lots. We've got an all out. We have a 2 right off the bat. Our target 2 is to take 2 off and then 1 off. So what I can set this up as is, all right, I want this to come off at, let's say 9. And this is very simple. This is very typical for how I trade. I want this to come off at 9 ticks. I want my stop, my all out stop at 7 ticks. Okay. I want this to be 9 ticks, and then I want my runner to just be way out here. Let's just say 40 ticks, okay? Because I'll generally mess with that depending upon where my profit take really is. I have very specific stops and very specific profit takes. I never hold on to a trade expecting to get 40 ticks, just FYI. I might expect to get fucking 20 points. But the fact of the matter is I just throw that out there and I can adjust it as it is. Okay, so for this, what I want to do is I want to do a trail to break even. And what that says is it's going to, as this goes in my favor, it's going to trail it to break even, right? And I will get to break even before I get to my first profit take where I take off 2 lots. And then I'm going to leave a runner. So if I do this now, and let's just say, because being the good trader that I am, I would never buy the high. Actually, I would with 1500 stacked. I'd absolutely buy the high with the size in the bid, lift in the offer. But let's just say I want to do this. All right. I want to sell the high. All right. So I come in and I sell the bid. So what that does is that gives me my one runner profit take down there, and it gives me my two lot profit take right at 9 ticks. All right. Now I just sold into a completely bid market, which I would normally never do. All right. I don't like shorting the ES as it is, but that's your setup right there. So it just, look at that, just bam. So there you go. Oh my gosh. And I set it up wrong to begin with. Shit. I'm gonna have to do that over again because see how I'm still in? Why am I marketed touched? All right. So limit. So I actually set that up wrong. I was trying to show you the 2 entries, but see how it left me into? It stopped me out 1 and left me into. I had my orders set up wrong. So I apologize about that. You get the gist of it. I was trying to fly through it, but see, I only had my stop set at 1. So what it did is it left me in 2. I should have had my all out stop. It should have been an all out stop where it stops me out of all trades. So if I come back in here and I just do 1, doom, doom. So it puts in 3. I want this to be a stop, an all out stop. So I want that. And I want this to be 3 lots. I want this to be 1 lot. And I want this to be 2 lots. Okay. So that matches up. All right. And I'm actually, it needs to be an all out stop. Why do I keep forgetting that? Let's see, stop limit. Why is it not, where's Mike when I need him? Jeez, man. So look, I'm going to just show you. All right. So this is my setup right here. So see, I have a stop all. Okay. It's because my OCO groups. I just realized that. So man, I'm sorry. I'm getting tired and I'm trying to run through this, but let me, I'll do this here real quick again. 1 second. All right. So there we go. So right here, we want to have all. Okay. So that's a stop all. All right. So that stops out all of my 3. Then I have my first, which I'm going to set at 9. I have this is going to be set at 7, which is my normal setup. And then I have this just way out there. Let's just say it's 20. Okay. That's the correct setup. All right. And I want this to trail to break even. Okay. So that's the correct setup. I only had it set to my first OCO group. This has to be set to an all OCO groups for a stop all. So you don't get left in this situation right here. Okay. So if I flatten out right here, we've got some poor structure. Look how big the market is. We haven't seen that in a long time. 1700 stacked on the bid. So if I want to go long right here, so now I'm +3. I'm an all stop at 0.1. I'm a 2 off at 45.05, and I'm a 1 off at 45.07. Okay. Sorry, I messed that up off the beginning. I was trying to rush through it, and I forgot to set my my OCO to all stop. So there you go. So there you go, man. Apologize about that. I hate it on the fly. It's always difficult when you're doing something on the fly. Well, I recognize it because I'm like, shit, it left me into like, what did I do wrong? And then you're in here and you're like, you just screwed up and you look like a moron in front of everybody. And now I'm panicking. And then I finally realized it's not, you know, yeah, I did it deliberately so I could show y'all what it's like to make a mistake. So you can see, that's right. So it moved a tick in my favor and it sucked my stop up a tick in my favor. So listen, a question that I get quite a bit, people will say, well, why do you have a 7-tick stop and a 9-tick initial profit take? You have to or a lot of times if the market's volatile, what I'll hear is, okay, I'll set this to say 13 ticks. All right. And they'll say, well, why do you have a 13-tick stop and a 9-tick and a 20-tick profit take? The reason is because my stop is always getting sucked to break even. See how this one's getting sucked to break even? I'm almost never taking a full, see, it just stopped to break even. So watch what happens now. Come on. All right. So look, it took 2 off and it left a runner. My stop is moved to break even. So now I've got a free trade. Okay. Now look, let's say that I think that the price is coming up to this bar POC. I can say, all right, well, listen, I expect to find resistance at that bar POC. I'll go ahead and just move that up and I'll just sit in this and let it go. Typically what I do though is we're above the second standard deviation between the third. I'll just say, hey, I at least want to pay for that lot, right? We've got poor structure underneath. I expect that to be revisited. I would like to get there. There's no guarantees. I'm at least going to pay for the lot. But a lot of people will ask me, well, why do you have such a wide stop far away? Well, based on market conditions. You know, if the market's volatile, you're not going to live with the 7-tick stop. So I don't want to get stopped out. And I know that my entries are good enough, you know, the way I take trades, that generally they're going to go in my favor to some level. If they go in my favor 4 ticks, well, now that 13-tick stop is now only 8. So, you know, that's how I manage my trades, and it generally works out fairly decent. That's definitely a target today, by the way, 45.10. Do you have any video that shows how to set up profile chart, like a market profile? Here, give me a second. I'm going to give you all a link to my how-to chart, Sierra chart. Give me a second. I'm going to give you all a link to my playlist for Sierra chart, how to.
New visitor.
And listen, if you come to my website, and listen, guys, I don't run the pit to make a living. I trade for a living, and I run the pit because I love it. If you come to my website, or if you're in RTA, or if you're watching on YouTube, I don't care. You never ever have to join the pit. Like we have a great group, and if it never grew another person, we are going to have a great group. 331 people. But if you ask me on my website, or if you ask me in YouTube and you say, hey, look, could you show me how to do this? I will create you a video and I will put it in this playlist. I don't care if you're a member of the pit. I'll help you out. I think there's a lot of benefit to being a member of the pit, but shit, you just might be against being a part of groups and you like trading alone. So there's the playlist right there, my how-to, and it's got that, what you just asked in there. All right. Any other questions? $68 people, and it's probably all pit members still left in here.
New visitor.
Once again, real quick, just so you guys know, this runs until 5 o'clock today. So I did something for the last Sierra chart webinar. Right now, it's always $99. Always, you can join the pit for $99. It'll never change. I've decided that. But now, if you join, I'm going to give you tools of order flow, which will show you how to trade based on order flow, based on volume profile, market profile, footprint, time and sales, and DOM. It's a 12 video, and I give it to anyone that joins up until 5 o'clock. After that, you got to pay for it. All right. Whew. If there's no more questions, then we can end this thing. But I'll as long as there's questions, I'm happy to. No, it's $99, one-time fee.
New visitor.
It's $99, one-time fee to be a member of the pit. If you want the Essentials of Order Flow, which is a course that I did with my mentor Gary Hoover, then you pay for those videos. But it's always one-time fee. You never pay again. Look at that link I just gave you above.
New visitor.
Well, like I said, you don't have to join. You could be on YouTube. I stream YouTube live every day. It's just there's a delay. There's a 15-20 second delay, and so you're going to get screwed if you try to follow my trades. All right, everybody. Well, listen, if Awesome, Sharon. It is pretty stupid, but you know what? Like I said, it keeps people honest. Okay, that's the big thing. If it were free, it would be a shit show, and I wouldn't be committed. But it's going to cost y'all a little something. I'm there every day, so that's just how it is. Cool. Well, whoever signed up, I'll get to you as soon as we're done with this. But real quick, are there any other questions at all? Hey, see how this trail does break even +2, Ray? So see how well, actually, I think I drug it there. Never mind. I probably drug it there. But anyways, I forgot that I'd set it up afterwards. All right, everybody. Well, listen, I really appreciate it. I enjoy doing this. I know that I absolutely skimmed over a lot of stuff, but you could see, man, we could be here for 5 hours. So hit me up if you need help. I will get this video out on YouTube. Always ask questions. You can ask on YouTube. You can ask through the website. You can join whatever you want. Doesn't make a difference. So have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. And thanks for being here.
Incoming chat.